While the humidity is so thick you can cut it with a knife, our drivers today are going to try to cut through it with their Porsches. Let's see who's quickest as we get ready for qualifying in the Porsche Sprint Challenge North America Cayman Series. I'm Joe Peak, and with me in the booth is former driver Joey Atterbury. Joey, whenever I talk to racers, it seems like this track here in Old Dominion is a favorite for most.
It is a fantastic place to come and drive a race car. It's a fantastic place to come and watch a race. We are located here at VIRginia International Raceway this weekend. And, Joe, you had already mentioned it. The weather is going to be a talking point all weekend. It is starting to ramp up in terms of the temperature, but I think we were eating breakfast this morning, and it showed 95% humidity already.
Yeah, you know that it's humid when it's 74 degrees out and everybody is still sweating. So imagine what it's like in these cars. It is going to be difficult. There's going to be two classes racing here today. They're all going to be in the Caymans, but it is all down to driver licensing. You'll have the Pro-Am class, and then you will have the Masters class. Each will have their own pole, but they will be mixed together. So having that track position is going to be important. You don't want to be separated from your rivals if you can help it. Over in the Pro-Ams, it's really been the Jens Hansen show. He's won all but two of the races, and that wasn't up against a regular when he lost those races. So it's really been him kind of running away with things. But Anna Checki has been showing some signs of speed in practice. We'll see if she can back it up here in the qualifying. As for the Masters, Elaine Scalzo currently leading the way. But it has been looking like he and Bill Finnick are very, very close in times here, Joey.
And it's just amusing that you had mentioned Scalzo. So this is an outlap that all the drivers are on right now. They just got released out of pit lane. So they're warming up the tires. They're warming up their own brains. Everything is getting to that temperature that you can go out and turn those qualifying laps. Scalzo, he was already on it. He went around the outside of one of those Caymans around the oak tree turn. He just wants the clean air, and that's also a strategy. Do you want to be following somebody in qualifying? Probably not. You want a clean windshield so you can drive your own race car at your own pace and hopefully get 11/10 out of it.
Well, and that begs a question, Joey. We've got the run out of Hogpen up into the Horseshoe on the front straight. You've got Madison Avenue down to the back straight. You could almost count the run from the Snake up to the Climbing S's as a flat-out section. Is the draft worth anything? Do you really think that you need to get your own little space out there?
The draft is definitely worth something. However, I think it is more difficult to try to work with a teammate and try to time up multiple straightaways here at VIR. So I think I would go for just a clean racetrack in front. That way they can focus on their own laps.
You can see we've already got Kopczynski, who's got a new livery this weekend, out there starting his first lap. Oh, and is that Jens Hansen?
That's the 12. Yes, it is Jens Hansen. And that is about turn 4 on the racetrack.
That is a rare mistake. It looks like coming out of NASCAR Bend. Do you think he he might be beached because it looks like he's having trouble getting traction and he's out of it.
What I'm worried about, though, is look at the front bumper. There is so much grass covering all of the grills on that Cayman GT4, so I'm sure that the team will see that and say, hey, you know what? You got to bring it to us because the car will overheat if you continue to turn lap after lap after lap. You got to get that cleaned off. And you're right, Joe. I think it was just a loose moment coming out of turn 3. The cars are all the way up on those exit curbs. So, yeah, cold tires probably still, too.
I think that's Hoffman in behind just trying to get by for the brief moment. But like I said, that's rare that you see something like that out of Jens Hansen. He's been so flawless most of the season and seemingly on his own. We don't know the full story. We don't know if he got any sort of help, but didn't really see anybody nearby at that moment, so I'm suspecting not. He should have plenty of time to get back out there and get a lap in as now. This is a bit of an open goal for Unser. Like I said, I think Jens will be able to get out there and get a lap in, but she's been the one that's been fighting him for the wins most races.
She has, and unfortunately she's had a little bit of bad luck earlier in the season, but she has turned that around, got up on the podium, so it's good to see Lonnie out there, and she's going to be completing that lap. And as she does, I see that Scalzo jumps to the top of the board in the Cayman Masters class, the first lap time of 54.6. Lonnie Unser sitting P2, but first in the Pro-Am class, 55.4.
Absolutely, and it seemed to be a big gap, at least in practice, for Jens Hansen over the rest of his Pro-Am drivers, but we'll see if it can be tightened up here in one lap pace. It certainly seems like the Masters showing the young guns how it's done up there, at least the first time by for Scalzo. Bill Pelichewski, who was also returned after having to miss a few races due to an accident in literally the very first race of the season out at Sebring, manages to put himself second in class, but he has 2.2 seconds to make up to get to Scalzo now.
I think we'll continue to see these times drop. It was yesterday afternoon the Caymans were out, and I think the fastest that I saw was about a 53, maybe low 54s out there. So I do think that the times will continue to kind of shuffle up at the top of the order here. Once we get a little bit later into the day and that ambient temperature really starts to rack up on the track temperature as well, that's when I think things start to slow down just a little bit as we watch a couple more of these cars through that section that Hansen had his trouble with. And you see that big mark through the grass where he went sliding, but this looks to be number 91 car getting through the lower S's known as the Snake.
Yeah, when I was watching, because I went out to the track to see how some of the cars handled it, and that's Dan Ammon. He did seem to struggle in that first sector coming through NASCAR bend and into left hook. I saw the car get pretty loose a number of times. So hopefully he's got that handled. And Anna Checki, I asked if she could back up her pace in the first practice session, and she has.
I was talking to her father, Greg Checki, yesterday, and he was very pleased with his own performance in the race car, but he said with a smile, Anna's P1. He's got to be proud about that.
No doubt. And about 0.5 of a second over Scalzo right now, but that is for between the Masters and the Pro-Am. Hoffman, the one she needs to worry about. In fact, of our female driver program that we have here in Porsche Sprint Challenge, well, they were the top three, and Jens Hansen just went into second.
And this car that we're riding on board with here had a little bit of a nervous moment, call it at turn 14. That's the brake zone at the end of the back straightaway. Found himself very far driver's right, so thankfully was able to hang on to the car and keep it on the racetrack. Did a nice run through Hogpen, kind of salvaged that sector 3 a little bit.
When you have a car like that, Joey, I know they have a lot of tools inside the cockpit. What sort of things do you want to try and do to help the car feel more stable underneath you, that maybe he could get a better handle on things?
I think each situation is a little bit different. Did he go too deep into the brake zone, and that's why it's out of shape? Or is it just a general characteristic, the platform of the car, that needs a little bit of tweaking and tuning on? I would say generally, if you're loose going into the brake zone, I'd be looking at my brake bias, probably dialing it in a little bit more forward. Hopefully take out some of that rear braking out of the back. If it's pushy, I'd probably be looking the opposite way. Start to add a little bit more rear brake into the car, try to help it turn a little bit.
See if he can maybe dial some of that out either with his driving or with some of the tools, as he's still got a few more laps to go. 12 minutes in to this rather short session to try and set a time. As we said, Checky's still our pole sitter for Pro-Am. Masters belongs to Scalzo. And I see Petkus and Trollinger without a time at this stage. Not sure if they're going to be able to get one in. Scalzo actually came in and just parked it now. Lonnie Unser did as well. Lonnie currently sitting 4th in class, which seems a bit low for her. In fact, she's just coming up in front of our booth now.
See, we're right on board with Tom Kopczynski here, the number 52, as he crosses the line here. Let's see what his lap time is going to be. Looks to be a 55.5, so not enough to move him up the order. But as I say that, I see that number 12 car that had a little bit of a whoopsie earlier in the session has now made his presence known. Jens Hansen to second place in Pro-Am with a 154.2.
Both he and Anna are still out on track, so they could still trade fastest times. Let's see what happens from here as we continue to watch Tom. There is a bit of a funny story about his name on his windshield. You may have noticed there, you see it there, that it just says T-Cop. The first time I was calling a race here in Sprint Challenge, that confused me greatly, trying to figure out who that was. And I talked to him about it, and he said, well, when I had my full name on it, it literally took up the whole windscreen, and it just annoyed me. So I just said, tell you what, shorten it to Cop. And so that's why it says just T-Cop on it.
It's quite amusing, yeah. You know, when you get those names with a lot of letters in there, it can definitely span across the top of the windshield. But sometimes you get to have a little bit of fun with it, too.
Yeah, indeed. See, the Solaris Aviation car, of course, coming in setting times. They've been a new partner coming on board for the series, and they actually have the Solaris fastest lap for the Masters pole, which belongs to Scalzo still, who is still in pit lane. Looks like Lonnie's returned to the track after pitting, so I guess she was not completely done, maybe just getting a few notes, or maybe she did also have to come in and brush a little grass off. We don't know what reasoning it was, but regardless, Erica Hoffman here currently sitting third in class, doing very good. Another driver that's relatively new to racing and picking it up very quickly.
Getting these awesome overhead shots of VIR. I absolutely love this place. 17 turns, 3.27 miles, and green grass that is perfectly manicured. Red barns throughout the property here. We have these awesome garage suites. You've got the lodge, the hotel over there, the restaurant. We're up here in the Cayman scoring building. Just this place, I think, is easy top 5 here in North America. And if you ask me, easily top 3.
It's definitely drawn me in. This is only my third time getting to be here in person. And it's a fantastic track. Beautiful area as well. And watching Erica now up to 4th overall, so going quicker. Oh, and here I was talking about Dan Ammon having what seemed to be a loose car. Dan has moved himself 2nd into the Masters class and 5th overall. That's an excellent lap from the 91.
Number 21 car, you saw him going up and over through turn 10, and now this is the old oak tree turn that she's going to be accelerating out of. You notice there's no more tree there anymore. That happened a long time ago, but it is still known as Oak Tree Corner. And then you go up and down this long back straightaway. You think, oh, there's turn 14. No, there's another little dip here. Just keep going. Keep on going.
Yeah, they call the corner after roller coaster, but Madison Avenue is just up and down all the way along it. Well, we come back to Lonnie Unser. Man, she's been shuffled a ways down. It's to 7th. That said, she is still 4th in class. It's been just some of the Masters drivers that have gone quicker. Ammon is in, Scalzo, and Jens Hansen is still parked up, so she has opportunities to move forward a bit.
I think that there could be twofold to this. It could be that she might have been happy with her lap time, came into pit road, and then saw the board shuffling down and says, you know what, no, there's more performance in it. I need to go back out there and turn a better lap. Or it could be the fact that got out there, the temperatures are very hot and humid already. The car wasn't the platform that she wanted, and maybe brought it in, made a tire pressure change, called it out to the crew, and then went back out there and hopefully is more happy with the car to be able to turn another fast lap. She's aggressive out there coming out of Oak Tree, standing on the gas.
She's not leaving anything on the table, that's for sure, trying to find a bit more time. Checking to see what her sectors look like. I'm guessing that last one's probably not going to be great. First sector actually was a personal best. Second sector was still a personal best. Okay, so even with a slide. So that says to me there might even still be time on the table for her.
Let's see here. Nice and tidy up through the top of the course here. And now we go down into what is known as hog pen down here. Trust the compression in the car. Really drive it into the racetrack. And you see she's already on the throttle, up over 110 miles an hour, 125 before we even hit pit lane. Accelerate up through 5th gear, grab 6th as you cross start-finish line, and she moves up into 5th place overall, 4th in Pro-Am.
So that was a 54.7. She's about 9/10 off of overall pole, but it does look like she is pretty darn close to Erica Hoffman, who is the next one up. It's 0.5 of a second. So if she can find just that 0.5, she'll get herself not just an overall position, but one in class.
Not only that, but it also goes from row number 3 on the starting grid to row number 2. So Lonnie's right now sitting in P5 overall. So if she can pick up literally 0.06 of a second, it would move her up onto the front row of the grid. But I say that, and Erica Hoffman, remember, she's still out there. She is not in pit lane, so she still has the opportunity to go faster as well.
So I'm seeing something from race control. It says interaction between cars 26 and 4 under review. And car 26 has been given incident responsibility, loss of 2 fastest lap times. That would be, oh, that's Scalzo. That's our pole sitter.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And I believe what was the other car?
4,
here?
that's Unser.
Remember, so Joe, when we were on our outlap, I had called that Scalzo was very aggressive on Oak Tree trying to get around, and I wonder if that was the incident that was called.
That could be. Fascinating. Well, that would put potentially Dan Ammon up to the top spot unless Scalzo's had enough laps that what we're seeing on time and scoring is accurate here in our tower.
And I got to raise my hand, too, because if it's a loss of 2 fastest lap times, he's already put in 1, can he go and repeat it and put his laps in that the penalty has already happened?
Yeah, and that's what I was trying to figure out is what we're seeing legitimate at this point, or are we waiting for those laps to be removed? We also had car 83 with a pit speed violation, so something minor there. Car 31 had a spin at turn 1 just recently as well. That's Lecoq, Dominique Lecoq, who is a newcomer here to the series. So haven't seen anything about the car being stopped. I assume he got it going once again and is continuing on. We're now down to 4 minutes left, and as you can see, laps here relatively long. You're not going to have too many opportunities left at this stage.
We were talking about that number 26 car incident. I think that we're already seeing a response out of the team, Joe. I see that Scalzo already back out on the racetrack. Remember, he parked it after his first lap to save those tires in qualifying. Remember, you're going to start on these tires for the race, so he didn't want to put any more laps on them, but he now has to.
Exactly. Well, that may have answered our question. He needs a little bit of backup there as we now watch Greg Checky around the track. I haven't really looked at his times. Where is he sitting? He's 6th in class right now. A little bit farther down than we're used to seeing from Greg, so no wonder we still have him out on track, maybe trying to find a little bit more performance.
Yeah, he was doing about 55s yesterday. And I know that Anna's up there in the 53s. I see that he's got a 156 on the board right now. So I think that this white and yellow Cayman GT4 is just looking for a little bit more speed out there. When I was talking to him yesterday, he did mention he had a little bit of an oopsie up at the end of the back straightaway. But thankfully that Charlie Hayes Racing outfit was able to get the car fixed up, and it is A-OK to go racing this weekend.
That's good news. It's not often that something happening in practice will do you well through the rest of the race. Certainly put you on the back foot trying to get time in, get the car up to speed, make sure that you're happy with it. But right now he's got about 2.5 minutes left to set a quick time. And judging by the bodywork on the car, it looks like they had to replace that nose.
Yeah, and you see the left door. That's where he made the impact, was the left side of the race car. And that's pretty typical if you outbrake yourself at the end of the back straightaway, is that oftentimes you kind of go off driver's left, and it's actually downhill down there. And this is the Czechie's first time to VIR. They did the test, so they're still kind of learning the limits of this racetrack. And I'm sure that Greg definitely remembers.
No doubt. Here he goes down out of South Bend up towards Oak Tree. Quite a big dip in there before you come up to the top of a big hill here. The car gets a huge slide. He catches it just in time and keeps it from sliding off into the barriers because there is not a lot of runoff at that portion.
He was on the brakes, and you saw the rear of the car just completely step out, had that huge yaw moment of the slide, almost looked a little bit like a drift car out there, but Greg Checky with fast hands and good car control was able to wrangle it back in. Now, obviously, this is not going to be the fast lap that he was hoping for, but I'm sure he's happy to just be pointed the right direction.
Yeah, skid pads on the other side of the circuit, I'm afraid, so maybe he'll want to visit that a little later to perfect his donuts. In the meantime, he comes around to try and start one last flying lap. They will be allowed to complete their hot laps. Or is it? Oh, was he heading in?
Yeah, it looked like he was bailing out of that. And it looks like this is Pelichowski here as well, the number 62 car. I saw that he had one of his turn signals on. That's usually a sign that somebody's going to be passing you. I wonder if he's just kind of making it aware you might be coming into pit lane this time.
Could be. Yeah, that's Dominique behind him, but didn't seem close enough. As I just saw, I think that was Scalzo that just flashed past. Last lap was not an improvement for him. He's got one more opportunity to try and go just that little bit faster. Well, on the main straights, it looks like Pelichowski is going to bring it in and call it a day.
So it looks like we've got about a handful of cars still out there. You see Scalzo, Hoffman, I believe Petkus is still out there in the number 83, at least on timing and scoring. And just as I say that, we get the checkered flag on our first qualifying session of the weekend.
Everybody you see with that P next to their name, they're in pit lane, so they're done with qualifying. The other three should be allowed to finish the lap that they're on currently. And does look like Hoffman is in the third sector right now. Nope, excuse me. She just pitted in, so she's not going to take this last lap.
I'm not surprised. I think that if you're out there right now, it's because of a reason. And I think we already know the reason why the number 26 is out there.
Exactly. Petkus, I think, just maybe trying to find some more time. Doesn't look like he's completely happy with things at this stage. Did set a personal best first sector, so that's a good sign. This could be a good one for the 83. In the meantime, we wait for Scalzo to come around. First sector, not an improvement. Second sector, not an improvement for Scalzo. It's not looking good.
I also wonder if it's just go out there and put a time on the board that you can start somewhere from the middle of the field, right? It's going to be an extremely hot and humid and physical race. Not physical between the cars, but physical for the drivers inside of those race cars. I wonder if it's just an opportunity to not start from last.
Yeah, that's a really good point that it's worth it. Oh, and he does come into pit lane, so yeah, he's got his laps as Petkus goes by, but it doesn't look like he improves either. So that is going to be it for our qualifying. And it sees Anna Checki take, I believe, her first overall pole in the series. That might be her first class pole as well. Jens Hansen could be starting to her outside. That's going to be a fun battle to watch. Erica Hoffman starting from P3 with Lonnie Unser in fourth. Top four, all the Pro-Ams. The Masters pole right now says it is Scalzo. We will try to see if we can confirm whether or not that is the case. Dan Ammon being shown as second in that class. And you get to Spencer Proper, who is seventh overall. He's in the Pro-Am. Eighth overall goes to Kopczynski with Bill Finnick next to him as Bill Pelichowski starts in P10. Greg Checki 11th. Dominique Lecault will be P12. Joe Rizzo, good enough for 13th today. Tartaglione and Petkus 14th and 15th. Do not see a time from Trollinger. Hopefully we will be seeing him in the race itself. We will be back with more qualifying from the Cup series in a little bit. However, if you are watching on Flow Racing, stay tuned because the Sport 2000 series is coming up.